Time travel has long fascinated both scientists and storytellers. The idea that one could journey through time, moving forward or backward to different periods in history or the future, seems to capture the imagination like few other concepts. It's a subject that has been explored in science fiction for over a century, but the question remains: could time travel ever become a reality? To understand this concept, we first need to explore the scientific theories that could make time travel possible. One of the most well-known theories is Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. Einstein's theory, particularly the theory of general relativity, suggests that space and time are not separate entities but are part of a single four-dimensional fabric known as spacetime. In this model, massive objects like stars and planets create indentations in spacetime, causing what we perceive as gravity. These indentations can bend the flow of time itself. Essentially, gravity can affect time, making it move faster or slower depending on how close you are to a massive object. One of the most intriguing predictions of relativity involves the concept of time dilation. Time dilation occurs when an object moves at speeds close to the speed of light or is in a very strong gravitational field. For example, an astronaut traveling in space at near light speed would experience time differently than someone on Earth. To the astronaut, only a few months or years might pass, while years or even centuries could pass for those on Earth. This phenomenon has been confirmed by experiments with atomic clocks on airplanes and satellites, which show that time does indeed pass at different rates depending on speed and gravity. In theory, this could allow for a form of time travel, albeit in one direction, forward into the future. However, traveling backward in time is far more complicated and remains a subject of intense debate. Some theories suggest that wormholes could provide a shortcut through space-time, allowing travel between two distant points in time and space. A wormhole is a hypothetical tunnel-like structure that connects two different points in space-time, essentially creating a shortcut through the universe. The idea is that if such a wormhole could exist and be stabilized, it might allow someone to enter and exit at different points in time. One of the challenges with wormholes is that they are purely theoretical. While Einstein's equations predict their existence, no one has ever observed a wormhole in nature. Even if wormholes did exist, they would likely be unstable and collapse before anything could pass through them. To make wormholes practical for time travel, they would need to be stabilized with something called exotic matter, a type of matter that has negative energy and would counteract the gravitational forces that would normally collapse the wormhole. Unfortunately, exotic matter has never been found, and it's unclear whether it even exists in the quantities necessary to stabilize a wormhole. Even if we could create a stable wormhole, the idea of traveling backward in time raises some serious paradoxes. One of the most famous is the grandfather paradox. This paradox suggests that if you traveled back in time and prevented your grandfather from meeting your grandmother, you would never be born. If you were never born, how could you have traveled back in time in the first place? This creates a logical contradiction. Various theories have been proposed to resolve this paradox. One such theory is the many worlds hypothesis, which suggests that traveling back in time could create a new, alternate timeline rather than changing the past. In this scenario, any changes made in the past would result in a separate, branching timeline, meaning you wouldn't be erasing your own existence but rather creating a new version of history. Another possibility for time travel is the concept of closed time-like curves, which are loops in space-time that would allow an object to travel back to the same point in time and space. These loops are permitted by the equations of general relativity, but they also involve the same kind of paradoxes. Some physicists argue that closed time-like curves could exist under certain conditions, but their practical implementation is highly speculative. In addition to these scientific theories, time travel has been a central theme in countless works of science fiction. Perhaps the most famous time machine is the one featured in H.G. Wells' classic novel, The Time Machine, published in 1895. In the book, the protagonist constructs a machine that allows him to travel forward and backward in time. This idea was groundbreaking at the time and influenced much of the time travel literature that followed. Other famous examples of time travel in fiction include movies like Back to the Future, where a car-powered time machine transports its users to various points in the past and future, and the Terminator series, which explores the consequences of time travel on the future of humanity. While these works of fiction may seem far-fetched, they have done much to shape public perception of time travel. The depiction of time travel in movies and books often explores the potential consequences of tampering with time. What would happen if we could change the past? Could we create a better future, or would we doom ourselves to unintended consequences? These questions are central to the stories that have been told about time travel, but they also reflect the deeper philosophical questions about fate, free will, and the nature of time itself. Despite the challenges and paradoxes, time travel remains a tantalizing idea for many. The possibility of traveling through time offers a way to explore the past and future in ways that no other form of exploration can match. It would allow us to witness historical events firsthand, meet figures from history, or even glimpse the distant future to see what humanity has become. It also raises the exciting idea that time itself might be more malleable than we think, allowing us to shape our own destiny. But for all its intrigue, time travel is still a concept that exists largely in the realm of theory and fiction. There are many obstacles that would need to be overcome before time travel could be realized, not the least of which is the massive amount of energy that would be required to manipulate space-time in such a way. Theoretical physicists continue to study the possibilities, but for now, time travel remains an exciting idea that may one day be possible or may just remain an interesting thought experiment to ponder. Until that day comes, we can only wonder what it would be like to travel through time and what we would discover along the way. Would we find answers to the mysteries of the universe, or would we create new questions and paradoxes we cannot yet fathom? Only time will tell. As we look forward to the future of time travel, it's important to recognize that the concept is not just a curiosity for scientists but a challenge that pushes the boundaries of what we understand about the universe. While modern physics has provided some fascinating theories that hint at time travel's potential, the practicalities remain elusive. Even though the idea of traveling through time can seem both thrilling and terrifying, it is still largely confined to the realm of theory, fiction, and speculative science. If time travel were ever possible, it could fundamentally change the way we perceive our existence and the universe. Imagine being able to visit ancient civilizations and witness key historical events firsthand. Would it be possible to change the past, or would we simply observe it as a permanent part of history? This question brings us back to the paradoxes we mentioned earlier. While we might think we could change things in the past, the nature of time could prevent us from doing so, either through some cosmic safeguard or by creating alternative timelines. The consequences of altering the past, even in small ways, could ripple through time, affecting everything that comes afterward. This is why many time travel stories in science fiction focus on the concept of unintended consequences. In many of these stories, a character goes back in time to change a seemingly trivial event, only to return to a future that is drastically different, often for the worse. The idea that every action we take could have far-reaching implications is a theme that resonates deeply with the human experience, even if we don't fully understand how it would work in practice. On the other hand, time travel could also offer incredible opportunities. If it were possible to travel to the future, we might be able to glimpse the next stage of human evolution or explore the technological advancements that could change the course of civilization. Would time travelers from the future be able to warn us about impending disasters or share knowledge that could prevent us from making catastrophic mistakes? Could they help us avoid the mistakes that we might inevitably make? The potential for progress would be enormous, but the challenges and risks involved would also be overwhelming. It's also worth considering that time travel, if ever achieved, might not be something that's accessible to everyone. The energy required to manipulate space-time in the way that would be necessary for time travel is currently beyond our technological capabilities. The very fabric of space-time might require a level of precision and control that humanity hasn't yet mastered. Even if time travel were possible, it might only be available to a select few, raising questions about ethics and fairness. Would it be wise to let only the privileged travel through time? Would it be possible to regulate or control the use of time travel in a way that would prevent it from being abused? Perhaps the most significant question time travel poses is not just about the mechanics or the risks but about the nature of time itself. Time is a concept that we experience daily, but we don't fully understand it. The passage of time feels linear to us. Moments flow in one direction, from the past to the present and into the future. But the more we learn about the universe, the more we realize that time might not be as straightforward as it appears. Some theories suggest that time might not even exist as we understand it. In quantum mechanics, for instance, particles can exist in multiple states at once, and time might be something more fluid, more connected to the very fabric of the cosmos than we realize. As we venture further into the study of time and space, we may find that time travel is not just about moving backward or forward in a physical sense but about rethinking our entire understanding of reality. The pursuit of time travel, even if it's never fully realized, might lead us to discover deeper truths about the universe that have remained hidden for centuries. The very act of exploring the possibility of time travel is a reflection of humanity's boundless curiosity and desire to understand the universe in all its complexity. So, while time travel remains, for now, a theoretical possibility, it serves as a symbol of the limits of human knowledge and the power of imagination. It challenges us to think beyond the constraints of our everyday existence and envision a reality that is vast, interconnected, and full of potential. Time travel, whether or not it ever becomes a reality, reminds us that the universe is full of mysteries waiting to be explored, and perhaps one day, we'll discover a way to travel through the fabric of time itself.